Buckle up, because in this video, I'm going to reveal the biggest financial opportunity of your lifetime, a massive $84 trillion shift that's already reshaping the world of wealth. It's not a new cryptocurrency, not an AI revolution, not a stock market frenzy. It's the great wealth transfer, and if you're not paying attention, you're about to miss a once-in-a-generation chance to change your financial future. I'm going to break down exactly what's happening, why most of this money is flowing to the already rich, and, most importantly, how you can position yourself to grab your share, even if you're starting from nothing. This is Has2 Barak, and today, we're diving deep into the strategies that could set you up for financial freedom. Let's jump in. Right now, a silent revolution is unfolding that could define the economic landscape for the next 50 years. The Great Wealth Transfer is the largest movement of money in human history, over $84 trillion passing from older generations to younger ones over the next few decades. But here's the harsh reality: most of that wealth isn't coming to people like you or me. It's headed straight to those already wealthy, already connected, already playing the game at an elite level. The good news? You don't need to be born into a rich family to benefit. You just need to understand the rules, act smart, and start now. Let's start with the numbers, because they're mind-blowing. Baby boomers, born between 1946 and 1964, control over half of all U.S. household wealth. That's trillions of dollars tied up in real estate, stocks, businesses, land, retirement accounts, and more. They've built their fortunes riding waves of economic growth, soaring property values, and booming stock markets since the post-war era. Now, as they age, retire, or pass away, those assets are starting to move to their children, their trusts, their charities. This isn't some far-off prediction. It's happening right now, and it's picking up speed every single day. According to Truly Associates, a leading research firm tracking wealth trends, over $84 trillion will transfer by 2045. That breaks down to $72 trillion going directly to heirs. Think kids, grandkids, or family trusts, and another $12 trillion flowing to charities, foundations, or institutions. But here's the kicker: over 70% of that wealth is headed to the top 10% of households. Nearly half of it is landing in the hands of the top 1%. Let that sink in. The richest families in America aren't just holding on to their fortunes, they're multiplying them through sophisticated strategies like trusts, estate planning, and tax shelters. These aren't shady backroom deals, they're legal tools, carefully designed to keep wealth in their system for generations to come. Meanwhile, the average millennial is grinding just to pay rent, wrestling with student loans, and battling inflation that makes every dollar feel like it's worth less. Gen Z is being sold a dream of hustling on TikTok, trading crypto, or starting side gigs like dropshipping or OnlyFans. But while most people are distracted by these get-rich-quick schemes, the real money, the serious, life-changing money, is moving quietly, permanently, out of reach, into the hands of those who already know how to play the game. So, what does this mean for you? It means you need to rethink everything about money. Stop obsessing over your next paycheck and start building assets that grow over time. Stop chasing quick cash and start leveraging opportunities that align with this massive wealth shift. Stop thinking about short-term wins and start playing the long game. The people who'll benefit from the great wealth transfer aren't just the heirs with silver spoons, they're the ones who understand how capital flows and how to position themselves in its path. Let's break down how you can do that, step by step, with practical strategies you can start using today. First, you need to understand where this wealth is going. When estates transfer, assets don't just sit still, they move, and they move fast. Real estate gets sold, flipped, or developed into new projects. Stocks are transferred, reinvested, or diversified into new portfolios. Family businesses are either passed down to the next generation or sold off for massive payouts. This creates a ripple effect of opportunities, but only if you're ready to act. For example, if you're in real estate, start looking at estate sales or probate listings. These properties are often undervalued because heirs want quick cash or don't know the market. A friend of mine, Sarah, flipped a probate property she bought for $150,000 and sold it for $220,000 in just 6 months. That's a $70,000 profit for being in the right place at the right time. She found the listing through a local probate attorney and acted fast. You can do the same: check county records or connect with real estate agents who specialize in estate sales. If you're an investor, pay attention to where family offices, the groups managing wealth for the ultra-rich, are putting their money. Family offices often invest in stable, high-growth assets like ETFs tied to real estate, technology, or healthcare. For instance, the Vanguard Real Estate ETF, VNQ, has been a go-to for wealth managers because it tracks properties that benefit from these transfers. You don't need millions to invest in VNQ. You can start with $100 on platforms like Robinhood or Fidelity. If you're an entrepreneur, consider offering services to high-net-worth families navigating this process. Think estate planning apps, financial consulting, or even concierge services for trust management. The great wealth transfer is a gold rush of complexity, and those who can simplify it for others will make serious money. Let's take a real-world example. My cousin Jake started a small business helping families digitize old financial records during estate transitions. He learned about probate processes through free online courses on Coursera. Today, he's charging $500 per client and has a waiting list. He didn't start with money, he started with a laptop and a willingness to learn. That's the kind of opportunity this transfer creates for those who pay attention. Let's pause for a second, because I want to hear from you. What's one financial goal you're working toward right now? Maybe it's paying off credit card debt, saving for a down payment on a house, or starting your first investment account. Drop it in the comments below. I'm reading every single one, and I want to know what's driving you. Your answer might inspire someone else in this community, so don't hold back. Now, let's move to the second step, learning the tools the wealthy use to protect and grow their money. Trusts aren't just for billionaires, they're legal structures that shield your assets from taxes, lawsuits, or even bad decisions. For example, a revocable living trust lets you control your assets during your life and pass them on without the hassle of probate court, which can eat up thousands in fees. Irrevocable life insurance trusts can transfer wealth to your kids tax-free. Step-up basis is a game changer. When you inherit assets like stocks or property, their taxable value resets to the current market value, potentially saving you thousands in capital gains taxes. Tax loss harvesting lets you offset investment gains with losses to lower your tax bill. Even charitable giving can be strategic. Donating to a foundation can reduce your taxable income while making a difference in the world. These tools sound intimidating, but they're not rocket science. You don't need to be a lawyer or accountant to understand them. Start with free resources. Watch YouTube channels like The Money Guy Show or Graham Stephan for breakdowns on trusts and tax strategies. Read books like The Wealthy Barber by David Chilton or Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki to shift your mindset from employee to wealth builder. Check out websites like Investopedia or NerdWallet for beginner-friendly explanations of things like Roth IRAs or capital gains taxes. When I started learning about trusts, I spent $20 on a used copy of Estate Planning Basics and a few hours watching free videos on YouTube. That small investment completely changed how I think about money. It's not about having wealth, it's about knowing how wealth works. Here's another story to drive this home. My friend Maria, a single mom working as a nurse, started reading about financial planning after her dad passed away and left her a small inheritance of $10,000. Instead of spending it, she learned about Roth IRAs through a free workshop at her local library. She invested that $10,000 in a low-cost index fund, and today, 5 years later, it's worth $15,000. She didn't have a finance degree, she had curiosity and discipline. You can do the same. Third, you need to build a foundation that can hold wealth. I'm not talking about manifesting $1 million or praying for a big lottery win. I'm talking about creating financial and legal systems so that when money comes your way, through a business, investments, or even a small family legacy, it doesn't slip through your fingers. It multiplies. Open a brokerage account, even if you start with just $100. Platforms like Fidelity, Schwab, or Robinhood make it easy to get started. Automate $50 a month into a low-cost ETF, like the SPDR S&P 500 ETF, SPY, which tracks the market and compounds over time. Look into Roth IRAs or 401ks for tax-advantaged savings. Learn about diversification to protect your money from market swings. Talk to a financial advisor about setting up a trust or an LLC to shield your assets from risks. Let's talk about why this foundation matters. Imagine you get a $50,000 bonus from work or a small inheritance from a relative. What do? Most people would spend it: new car, fancy vacation, maybe pay off some credit card debt. But without a system, that money disappears. Now imagine you have a brokerage account, a Roth IRA, and a basic understanding of diversification. You invest that $50,000 in a mix of ETFs and bonds. At a conservative 7% annual return, that $50,000 could grow to over $140,000 in 15 years. That's the difference between spending money and building wealth. Systems turn one-time wins into lasting assets. Here's a quick story to illustrate this. My buddy Mark, a high school teacher, started investing $25 a week into an index fund 5 years ago. He wasn't making big bucks, his salary was about $50,000 a year. But he automated his contributions through Vanguard and didn't touch the money. Today, that account is worth over $10,000, and it's growing without him lifting a finger. Mark didn't need to be rich, he needed a system. You can build one too, starting today. Let me hit you with another question, because this one's a big deal. If you inherited $1 million tomorrow, what would you do with it? Would you buy a Tesla, pay off your mortgage, or jet off on a year-long vacation? Or would you invest it in a diversified portfolio, start a business, or set up a trust for your kids? Drop your answer in the comments. I'm genuinely curious to see your money mindset, and your response might spark an awesome discussion in this community. Here's a tough truth. Most people who get sudden money lose it fast. Studies show that 70% of lottery winners go broke within 7 years. Athletes, entertainers, even some heirs, they're often back to square one because they lack the mindset, systems, or habits to sustain wealth. Money without wisdom is a curse. But you can build that wisdom now. You don't need millions to think like a millionaire, you need structure, discipline, and a long-term vision. Let's get super practical, because I want you to walk away from this video with actionable steps. If you do just one thing after watching this, make it this: open an investment account. It could be with Vanguard, Schwab, or a robo-advisor like Wealthfront. Start with whatever you can afford, $50, $100, even $10. Automate your contributions, even if it's $5 a week. Learn how capital gains taxes work so you're not caught off guard. Read one book on financial planning. My personal favorite is The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins, because it breaks down investing in a way anyone can understand. Connect with people who think bigger. Join online communities like Reddit's r/personal finance, Bogleheads forums, or local investment clubs. The wealthy don't build wealth in a vacuum, they build networks, and you can too. Let's talk about why this is so critical. The Great Wealth Transfer isn't just a headline, it's a seismic shift that's creating winners and losers. You get to choose which side you're on. The money is moving, whether you're ready or not. But if you're informed, strategic, and disciplined, you can catch some of that momentum. Build a portfolio that compounds year after year. Start a business that scales, maybe a service helping families navigate estate transfers. Create assets like intellectual property, real estate, or a personal brand that generates passive income. Invest in relationships that open doors, mentors, advisors, or peers who push you to level up. Here's another example to inspire you. My cousin Lisa started a small bookkeeping business 3 years ago, targeting families dealing with estate transitions. She learned the basics of trusts and tax strategies from free online courses on platforms like Coursera and edX. She spent evenings watching YouTube videos on estate planning to understand her clients' needs. Today, she's working with high net worth clients, charging $200 an hour, and has a 6-month waiting list. Lisa didn't start with money or connections, she started with curiosity, a laptop, and a willingness to learn. That's the kind of opportunity the Great Wealth Transfer creates for those who show up. Let's zoom out for a moment. Why does this transfer matter so much? Because it's not just about money, it's about power, influence, and opportunity. The families receiving this wealth will shape industries, politics, and culture for decades. If you're not in the game, you're on the sidelines, watching others build dynasties. But you don't have to be a bystander. You can be a player. You don't need to be born into wealth to benefit from it, you need to be prepared. Preparation isn't about luck or hoping for a windfall. It's about building systems that attract and grow money. Let's say you start investing $100 a month in an index fund at age 25. At a 7% annual return, that could grow to over $300,000 by the time you're 65. Now imagine you scale that up, $500 a month, smarter strategies, maybe a side business. That's how you turn small actions into big outcomes. The Great Wealth Transfer is your chance to align with that kind of momentum. Here's another way to think about it. Imagine you're at a buffet, and there's $84 trillion worth of food on the table. The wealthy are already filling their plates with the best dishes: real estate, stocks, businesses. If you don't grab a plate and start serving yourself, you'll be left with crumbs. But if you know where to look, estate sales, ETFs, niche services, you can walk away with a full plate. The buffet is open, but you have to act before the best stuff is gone. Let's address a common objection I hear: I don't have enough money to invest or start anything. I get it. Times are tough, rent's high, groceries are outrageous, and it feels like there's nothing left at the end of the month. But here's the truth: you don't need a lot to start. You need consistency. When I was 22, I was working a minimum wage job, living paycheck to paycheck. I started saving $10 a week in a high-yield savings account. It wasn't much, but it built a habit. Today, that habit has grown into a diversified portfolio that's my safety net. You can start with $5, $10, whatever you've got. The key is starting. Another objection: this sounds too complicated. Trusts, ETFs, tax strategies, it can feel overwhelming. But you don't need to master everything overnight. Take it one step at a time. Learn one concept this week, maybe what a Roth IRA is. Next week, read about diversification. Small steps add up. Think of it like learning a new language. Don't become fluent in Spanish in a day, but if you learn a few words every week, you'll be conversational in a year. Financial literacy is the same way. Let's wrap this up with a final call to action, because knowledge without action is just trivia. The great wealth transfer is happening, with or without you. It's a tidal wave of money, and you can either ride it or get swept away. If you're informed, strategic, and disciplined, you can catch some of that momentum. Build a portfolio that compounds. Start a business that scales. Create assets that generate income. Invest in relationships that open doors. Learn the language of money, not to chase it, but to build systems that attract and grow it. One day, money will come your way, maybe through a side hustle, a business deal, an investment, or a family legacy. The question is, will you be ready to multiply it, or will it slip through your fingers like sand? Most people aren't ready. They spend, they splurge, they lose. You can be different. This isn't about getting rich quick. It's about building a legacy. It's about thinking like a steward of wealth, not just a spender. The world doesn't reward the loudest hustlers, it rewards the smartest planners. So, here's your challenge. Start today. Open that investment account. Read that one book. Make that one connection. Take one step toward building a system that attracts and grows wealth. The future belongs to those who prepare, not those who just dream. This is not financial advice. Always consult a professional before making financial decisions. It's a wake-up call. The $84 trillion train is rolling, and it's not slowing down. Are you on board? Choose wisely. If you found this video valuable, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into building wealth. Want more tips like this? Check out my video on 5 investing mistakes beginners must avoid in the description below. Let's build your financial future together. See you in the next one.